Welcome to That 30 Show, a podcast where we talk about the good, the bad, and the surprising parts of our 30s. I'm G, and I'm finally 30. I'm excited to find out if 30 really is the new 20, because if it is, then the best years are yet to come.
And I'm David. I'm entering my mid-30s. I used to have no back pain or trouble sleeping, but now I live off a healthy diet of self-help books and dream of being in bed by 10 p.m. every night. Join us each week as we try to figure out together what life in your 30s is all about.
Welcome back to Season 2 of That 30 Show. Wow, I haven't said that in so long.
Season 2 premiere.
Yeah, Season 2 premiere. It's been a long time coming. I'm glad we're back.
It's the most hotly anticipated return this summer, right? Second to only Barbenheimer.
Barbenheimer. Yeah. I want to talk about that later in the show. But...
Yeah, it's on my list. Oh my gosh. So yeah, it's nice we haven't talked that much this summer.
No.
And I was actually supposed to see you with a group a few days ago, but I uncharacteristically bailed. But actually that works out for us because now I don't really know anything about your summer, because if I had seen you a few days ago, I would have had to pretend I don't know anything, but now I actually don't know anything. So that's kind of
no,
nice.
It worked out in our favor. And something new we're doing for the season, you may have noticed, we are on video. Yay.
Yes, it's an experiment, right? We don't know how this is going to work. I don't even know if we're going to be able to get this video up, but I think Spotify does support video recordings. And obviously we have actually...
Oh, really?
Like Joe Rogan's on Spotify and he has video on his podcast. That's how I know.
Oh.
Spotify does video.
Huh. Okay. Well, that's pretty cool. But yeah, I mean, over the course of our break, I've uploaded all of our season 1 episodes onto YouTube. So we're officially on YouTube. Yay. If you don't have any other podcast subscription services, you can go to YouTube and find us there.
What's the handle?
That 30 Show Pod. So same as all of our other socials.
Okay.
Yeah. So it'd be cool if we can get this on YouTube. I've had friends being like, you guys should go on video so we can watch you and see your expressions and everything. So
yeah, I gotta be much more. I think like right before this, you were like, let me take a quick shower.
Yeah. I don't particularly enjoy speaking on video. I have to like remember to look into the camera, but then I also want to see you on the screen. So it's going to take some getting used to.
It'll take some time, but hopefully it adds a new dimension to our to the 30 show experience. Mm-hmm. But so it's Uncut today. It's our season premiere. Yes. We're so much to catch up on. We're gonna talk a bit about what we have in store for this season, and but for this episode, I think we'll just spend most of the time just sharing some highlights from our summer. Anything that we've not just highlights, but things that we're learning, things that we are doing in our lives that maybe might be interesting for other people to learn about or hear about. Where do you want to start, G? I've got way too much to talk about that I'm not going to be able to fit into 1 hour. So let's just dive right into it.
Yeah, I think we should let's just take turns. Like what did you do over the summer? Oh my gosh, it's been like 2 months. I think where we left off was probably June, right? So
well, I checked actually before coming on today, and the last episode we released on July 10th, and we're recording today on September 9th.
Yeah,
releasing in a few days. So it's been almost exactly 2 months since we've recorded / released something. So can I say a lot has happened? I don't know. Has a lot happened?
Well, I just want to say that this summer was one of the I have really fond memories of this past summer. I think probably since COVID maybe, or the pandemic, I feel like this summer was just a very healing time for me, maybe all of us, because there was just so many things that were going on that was like people were excited about all summer. So I'll get into that. But it was just like there was like this mood of anticipation and excitement in the air all summer. So I'm
excited to hear more about it. I have no idea what you're alluding to. But actually, before we even get into that, I have a quick a morning experience to share. I went out for my morning walk as usual, and in the elevator, as I was going down, someone how do I say this? It's like another neighbor walked into the elevator, right? And then as the door opened, they walked in, and then it was this middle-aged Asian lady, and then she said good morning, which is fine, but still nicer than most people. And I'm like, oh, good morning. And it was like this like good morning vibe. It was pretty early in the morning. It was like around 7:30 or something. I was like, oh, good morning. And then the cherry on top was that as she left, I wasn't leaving on the same floor as her. So as she left, she turned around to me and said, "Have a nice day." And then like, what? What's your reaction?
You would think that this is like common courtesy, but to you this obviously meant something because you're sharing it.
This is like the highlight of my entire day. This never happens to me, and I never do this for other people either. And I'm just minding my own business and trying to not be awkward or whatever. I'm just standing. I know it's close proximity with a stranger in the elevator. I'm always kind of awkward, but they turned around and said, "Yeah, have a good day." And then I was like sort of caught off guard, and then I was like, "Oh," like my response was like, "Oh, thanks. Yeah, you too." And then immediately my heart, it warmed up.
It just filled yes, your heart up.
And then it just made me realize, wow, like, okay, I guess to break the suspense here, do you do this? Like, do you wish people have a nice day?
Yeah, if it's just me and another person in an elevator, or like two people, then I'll say it. But if it's like obviously a whole elevator full of people, I'm gonna be like, "Have a great day, y'all!" Like, I hope each and every one of you has an amazing day. So
you like turn around and give like this 5-minute speech, like, today is a great day. I feel like you're gonna have a great day. You're gonna have a great day.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
And everyone's like, "Get out of the elevator." No, but yeah, if it's a couple people, and sometimes like if they're like, I try to kind of make a conscious effort to try and speak to people more in the elevators. But so if they have like, they're holding something interesting, or if they have like a dog or something, it's easier to strike up a conversation. Actually, one time in the elevator, I was holding on to this like huge mic that I had, because this was like when we were first testing out our recording. And I had this like extravagant like mic setup that I was holding in the elevator, and the guy was like, what is that for? And I was like, "We're starting a podcast." He's like, "Oh wow, like good luck with that," and everything. So it was very nice. But
okay, yeah. I think I've had this conversation with some friends before, where I am more of an outlier, where I am very awkward and non-social in elevators.
Do you say hello
anyway?
At least
no, I don't say hello.
Okay.
Sometimes like I literally just turn around and like face the wall. Not the wall, the mirror. I pretend to be like, look. Anyways, so let's move on. But I love that. That was a great start to my morning, and
that's awesome.
It makes me reflect on how we can have like little impacts on other people if we just show those acts of kindness.
Yeah. So, that's great.
That's so warm and nice. Yeah. Okay, you tell me what was so healing or whatever about the summer, whatever you said earlier.
Okay, I just feel like obviously with the popularity of like this whole Barbie and Oppenheimer movie thing coming out, I just feel like the excitement in the air about movies, about like Taylor Swift, about Beyonce, about like everything like that just made this summer feel so like wholesome and just exciting. I think like when I went to go see Barbie, the entire theater, like there were groups of friends like super dressed up in like all pink, or they're dressed up they actually purchase things to go see a movie. And then there would be people like walking by being like, "Hi, Barbie," and like saying quotes from the movie. And I'm just like, this is great. It was fun. It was a fun summer.
Did you wear pink at least?
I think I wore something pink. Yeah. But
okay.
I just like the vibes. It was great vibes. The mood. Yeah. And on top of that, Taylor Swift.
Kind of reminds me like I think the last time that sort of happened was maybe like for in my memory, like Hunger Games was a big movie phenomenon. Harry Potter, obviously, but like people like dressing up and stuff.
Yeah. I feel like
it's not too often.
It hasn't happened in a long time. And I feel like, people were talking about how the theaters were kind of like dying with Netflix and all these subscription companies coming out. It just felt like kind of like the good old days. When people would go to the theaters, get all excited. And
I get you. So you watched Barbie.
Yeah.
I did not watch Barbie yet.
Mm-hmm.
And did you watch Oppenheimer?
No.
I did watch Oppenheimer.
Yeah.
And that's why we're doing a podcast.
Yeah. It represents represents the two of us.
Yeah, you're a Barbie girl and I'm but you know what? I have this is a longer conversation. I don't think we need to get into it, but I'll just share my very unpopular take, which is that Oppenheimer was not a good movie.
Maybe we should do an episode to review the two movies. Like, we should just watch it and then review it.
Like, you have to watch Oppenheimer and I have to watch Barbie, though. Like, we can't really have to talk about it unless we watched it. And then, well, actually, let me clarify. It's not that it's not a good movie. I just personally didn't enjoy it.
Mm-hmm.
I can see why many people would have enjoyed it and think it's a good movie and probably win Best Picture and stuff. Anyway, that's why I say it's a very unpopular take, but I just personally didn't enjoy it. I almost fell asleep. But anyway, okay. Everyone's going to hate on me. People think that I'm uncultured or unintelligent, which is probably not wrong. But yeah, Barbenheimer was the thing. You mentioned Taylor Swift too. Yeah, that was huge. And are you a Swiftie?
I'm a huge Swiftie, and I could not for the life of me get any tickets. I couldn't get tickets. So, that's really sad.
I feel like you not going to the Taylor Swift concert is like me never having gone to the Wizarding World of Harry Potter in Universal Studios. It's like, because I'm a huge Harry Potter fan, right? So like whenever people go, I'm just like, you don't deserve to be there. I should be there. Do you feel the same way with the Taylor Swift concert?
Well, kind of, yes. I'm trying not to be bitter about it because bitterness is not nice. But yeah, like, there's tons of people that buy it just to sell it. And I'm like, ugh, I didn't even get the chance to buy it. Like, that's what irks me. If I had the chance and I didn't get it, okay, fine. I didn't even get the chance to buy it. So
wait, how much what was your budget? How much would you have been willing to pay?
I don't know. Like it would have to be in the moment, but I think like if I got the chance and there were tickets, I would have just bought them, like no matter. But like the thing is, when they're on Ticketmaster, when they're first selling, it's not that expensive. Like it's not, but then people like just jack up the prices right after they're able to get tickets. So
because I think it was easy for both Beyonce and Swift tickets to be in the thousands if you weren't careful about it or if you had to buy it.
But a lot of those are just like buying secondhand. But Taylor Swift, like you had to be entered into a lottery for the chance to buy tickets. So if you didn't, it's literally like winning the lottery. If you didn't get a chance, you're out of luck. They didn't even have general sales. It's like just this lottery thing. So it's pretty crazy, but we'll see. All hope is not lost. You never know.
I heard that I'm not a Swiftie, but I certainly kept up with the headlines. I heard that she did a concert in the rain too. Like she like sang in the rain for 3 hours or something. Multiple
shows. 3 hours in the rain.
It's pretty badass, I have to admit.
Yeah. I mean, most concerts aren't 3 hours either, but for her to do a 3-hour concert and do it in the rain. Yeah.
I heard she sang her whole discography basically.
Well, that's what made it so popular, I think, is because she did the Eras tour, right? It's like from her beginning albums. But I did
karaoke. Oh, sorry, go on.
I was going to say I did go to a Taylor Swift themed dance party. That was, if I can't get into the Taylor Swift concert, the Taylor Swift dance party was also just healing for the soul. Because you had like the bar was full and everyone knew like all the words. Everyone's like screaming all the words.
Wow.
Yelling all the... I was just looking at him like, wow, this is fantastic. Like, what a fun time. Yeah. And it was like going clubbing from like 7 to 10 p.m. And we left the club at 10.
Damn. So, that's early, right? Obviously.
Yeah.
That's weirdly early. Interesting.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I can't. I can't relate or share in your enthusiasm for Taylor Swift, but I do know it is a cultural phenomenon. So I appreciate the gravitas of this summer concert
Yeah.
season.
Yeah. A lot of great concerts happening this summer. So Beyonce's coming to town really soon. I'm not going to that, but I can also see the excitement around that too. So
Another unpopular take I have, again, it's not a take, it's just my unpopular life, I guess, is that I'm not a concert person, mainly because I can't personally justify the cost for the one-time experience that I get. Like the per minute cost for me to be there is too high.
are you one of those people that are like, I could just watch this on TV?
No, it's all no, not at all. Like it's completely different. I get that. It's just that it's just too expensive for the value that I get. Yeah, it. I don't know. It's not life changing enough for me to spend that much money for 2 hours.
That might also be like, do you have an artist that like, maybe you don't have like a die-hard artist that you like?
Here's the thing. I actually went to a concert for the first time in like 15 years this year. I went to
Louis Capaldi, right?
yes, thank you. Oh my god, mind blank there. Yeah, Louis Capaldi, because he's one of my favorite artists. I'm more of a ballads kind of guy, like sad songs, and
Sure,
so the other concerts that I would want to go to is Ed Sheeran, and I don't know who else, but yeah, I went to Louis Capaldi, and it was great. Like I felt like one of the cool kids, but
Yeah.
only for a few hours because I'm not one of the cool kids.
Have you ever been to the Harry Potter Wizarding World in Florida, in Orlando?
No, that was my point. My point is that I've never been, and then whenever I see people go, I'm like, you don't deserve to be there because I'm the bigger fan than you. That's like you and Swift. That's what I meant.
Yeah. Well, I've been, and you would love it. So
I would love it.
You should go. Yes. Oh well, trip to Orlando. Okay. It'll be fun. Okay, so what about you?
Okay, what else?
What's well, you give me a highlight now because I've shared a lot already.
I wrote a list. I don't know if any of these are highlights. I'm more like a reflective guy. But I'll talk about. It's not a highlight, but I'll mention. There's something I really want to talk about. That's on my about an app that I found out, but it's not as exciting. So I'll talk about this other thing, which is I spent a night in a barn. Is that interesting? I don't know if that's interesting.
That's not normal. So yes, I think that's pretty interesting. Seems unusual.
It is unusual.
Do elaborate.
So over a weekend, my girlfriend and I went to Mount Rainier National Park in Washington. And it's not too far from Vancouver, but it's a few hours drive. And we were looking at Airbnbs because we didn't go the camping route. And then we wanted to live as close as possible to the park entrance because we wanted to go like really early and come back really late kind of thing. And so one of the options we found was this barn. So it's, I don't even know how to explain, but basically it's a fully functioning barn. It's got, horses or animals. It's got hay. It's got equipment. And what happened was this farmer, barn owner person converted this horse stall into a room.
Whoa. I'm trying to imagine what this looks like.
Okay, like it's not glamorous or interesting at all. In fact, it's the complete opposite. It's almost like glamping, actually. Because so how it works was that it's so funny because in the Airbnb listing, it just kept saying, this used to be my old horse stall. And she said it like multiple times in the description, just be like, just so you know, this used to be my old horse stall. It used to be like, just so that people understand, this used to be where the horse lives. And now that she just renovated it into a room. And then, so and then it was like, oh, and there is an outhouse right outside if you need it. Or if you need to take a shower, you can go to, you can use the RV.
So is there only a single Airbnb there? Like the owners live also on the farm and it's just like a single barn or stall that they converted into an Airbnb?
Yeah, they live on the property. They have their own house and then the barn is a separate structure. And then so it's like glamping because you have to walk about a minute or so to the RV that's parked next to the house to use the showers. So when we arrived there late at night, we needed to use the washroom, but it's like we had to like pack up our stuff because we gotta go walk over. It's kind of like camping, you know how you have to pack your stuff.
Yeah.
And then as we walked to the RV for the shower, we walked by the outhouse, and then we looked at that and I'm like, okay, I'm not drinking any water anymore. Like I don't. Okay, I cannot imagine having to wake up and to use that in the dark.
Yeah.
So I didn't end up having to use that. And then the last interesting thing that I'll mention here is that after we finished using the shower, actually no, there's two things. When I would use the shower first, and then when it was my girlfriend's turn to use a shower, because it's an RV, I guess like the water supply is kind of limited or sketch. So then I used up all the hot
take a
water.
cold shower.
Yeah. And then I came out, and I tried to use it as quickly as possible, but still. And then she was in, and then she started like yelping and like screaming, and I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry, like because I don't mind cold shower, right?
Yeah.
She obviously
should have let her go first,
but she minds, and then I'm like, I'm so sorry, but yeah. And then
there's no more hot water.
And then when we walked out of the RV, we like turned around, and then right there in front of us, maybe 2 or 3 meters away, was a deer.
Wow, you really like immersed yourself into the
yeah, it was, I don't
know,
it was
farm life.
It was very surreal. And then like it was just like the deer was just there, and then the deer was like, and we were like, and we're just like staring at each other because of like
face off.
There's a deer right freaking there. Like what the heck?
Yeah.
And then it sort of galloped away. It was kind of cool.
How many nights did you stay there for?
Just one night.
Oh, okay. So it wasn't like you had to stay there for a whole week or something.
Yeah.
Wow.
The room was fine. Like it's fully insulated. There's exactly one electrical plug in there.
Wow.
And it's new. So it's one of those, not even misadventure because we planned for it, but it's one of those things where personally I like it, and I'm so grateful actually that my girlfriend is someone who is down for it. She's actually the one who decided to go there. Like she was like, we were gonna book something else, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna book it. Any last thoughts? And then she's like, let me take another look at the barn.
Yeah.
and then she's like, I want to try the barn. I'm like, are you sure? There's no washroom. It's an outhouse. Are you sure? And she's like, yeah, it's really funny. I think it'll be funny. I'm like, okay, let's do it.
Yeah. Well, that's a cool experience. It must not be like what I'm thinking of, because I'm thinking of like a barn with all the horse stalls, and each horse is like right next to each other. And then there's like each stall is like tiny. That's probably, that's probably not what you stayed in, right?
The room you get, you open the door, there's a double-sized bed, I think.
Uh-huh.
And then there's room to walk around the bed. And that's it. Like literally the room is just a bed. Yeah. There's no chair or table.
Yeah. Cool. Well, now you can say you stayed at a barn on purpose.
Yes.
At first, when you said that, I was like, was this an accident? How did you get to sleep in a barn? Wow. That is pretty cool.
Okay. Not a highlight, but it's certainly an interesting experience.
Yeah.
Okay. What else is on your plate?
What else did I do? I did a stranger meetup this summer. My first stranger meetup. I was actually like, yeah, everyone, they picked us up, and no, it was at a park. But when before I went, I was like, oh, do I really want to go? And I was like, I have to do it for the pod and report back and let everyone know how stranger meetups go. Anyways, it was fine. It was like, I found it on TikTok or Instagram or whatever. Basically, everyone, from the city looking to meet new friends, come together and start talking to each other. And, and they do, what, does that sound fun to you or?
Well, I'm just thinking on behalf of all the people who would find that absolutely anxiety inducing and horrifying and scary. Like, you got to be an extrovert to do that, right? Like, you literally, because I've been to, for example, house parties where I only know the host.
Yeah.
And I feel like that was super outside my comfort zone. But at least I'm like, oh, I know this guy. But this is, you're like literally showing up and you don't know anyone. I think I saw on social media, like you went with a friend though.
Yeah. Well, you need like a mixture of people, I think. Like it's fine to be more introverted there. Actually, a lot of people kind of work because it's kind of why they go to the stranger meetups, because they're more introverted. It's like hard for
Because
them.
they don't have friends.
Well, I don't know, right?
Sorry, that's really mean.
so when you go, so you need a mixture of people, because then the more extroverted people can come and like,
Okay.
you know, start a conversation with the more introverted people.
And is that what you did?
There was a mixture of people there. I mean, everyone was really friendly. Like when one person joined, you just made kind of the groups bigger and bigger and bigger, and then everyone.
Okay, so who was the weirdest person there? Did you or not who, but like did you meet like a super weird person there and creepy or no?
Yeah,
They're actually just
I don't know.
people?
Well, most of them were normal people. There were a couple of odd ones who were like really like they just started talking about like politics, and they were like very, very strongly opinionated about something, and then everyone else is like, we just want to try to make some friends and like, you know, chat about life. maybe it was the wrong stranger meetup for this fellow, but yeah, for the most part, it was fun. And like the organizer actually did a whole bunch of other stranger meetups over the course of the summer. I could see it being really fun if they do like a specific activity, because there are activities that I might want to do that my friends don't really want to. Like if there was a wakeboarding meetup, I would totally be down to go and like try it out, right? Anyways, they did like kayaking and paddle boarding, and they'll go to like cool new restaurants to check out stuff. And so yeah, if anyone's interested in Vancouver. But I think in every city there's like organizers who do this.
What was your goal to go? Because we all know that, you know, jokes aside, you have friends, you have many friends, so
yeah,
you wanted more friends.
Well, no, I think it was just like like trying something new, because I've never done one of these before, and it was like something that I just came across, you know, on TikTok. It was like on a Friday night. I just happened to be free too, and I was like, you know, why not? Try for the pod, report back and see if there's anything interesting that happens. It wasn't super interesting, to be honest. Like everyone just was talking to each other.
You mentioned that it happens in different cities, and actually this not my friend, everyone knows her. Actually, should I out her? I don't think it's anyway. So my friend Preet, who was on this podcast, she, as everyone knows, moved to Toronto, and when you move to a new city, like, it totally makes sense. You want to put yourself out there, make connections. Yeah. And so she has made friends at similar meetups like this. But I guess that's because she's new to the city, and that's, you know, it's something that is, you know, important to establish your life there. Were a lot of people there new to Vancouver? Was that why they were there?
Almost everyone there was new to Vancouver. And like my friend and I were like the only locals there. So I think we were kind of getting people being like, why are you here? Do you, you've lived in Vancouver all your life and you don't have friends? Like what's going on?
That's so funny. Did you at least tell them about the pod then?
Yeah, I told a few of them about the pod. Oh, wow. Yeah, I mean, we can... You know, another thing that could come out of this is I spread the pod.
You should like start handing out flyers, you know?
Yeah. Start our own pod meetups. Yeah, I think it's a great way, though, to meet new people, especially in Vancouver. We always get the rep of like people in Vancouver are like stick to their own cliques and are not friendly or not easy to talk to, whatever.
Do you disagree with that? Because I actually totally agree with that. I think Vancouver is really hard to make friends.
Yeah, maybe. Like if you're trying to make new friends, probably. I haven't really had that like intention, but I did hear from a lot of the people at the meetup saying that like arriving to Vancouver, it has been challenging to make new friends. So, because there were some people from like Toronto, and they were like, "Oh, it's so much easier to make friends in Toronto than it is in Vancouver." So,
yeah, I mean, this is a longer conversation that we don't have time for today, but we've mentioned it a few times, and it's come up a few times because it's so relevant in the sense of adult friendships, especially in your 30s.
Yeah,
because you're in this stage now where you might have a better sense of who you want to surround yourself with, what kind of person you are, and what you're interested in. And it's probably very different to what it looked like in your 20s. And so the friends that you made in your 20s may or may not be compatible in that way. You know, you're always going to have your childhood friends where you're going to, as you said in the past, get together, reminisce about high school days and stuff, and that's fine. But if you want to make new friends based on your new interests or based on the new sort of I don't know, energy you want to surround yourself with, it's so hard to make new friends as adults.
Well, we were talking about this before, but because like in your 30s, that's where the shift happens with like people being in different stages of life. Like people are married, some people are single with kids, whatever. So at that point, you might want to try to find like people who are maybe in similar stages as you.
Yeah, I think
right?
so. Which is a little bit unfortunate because then you sort of silo yourself. So like if you're a parent, you become friends with just parents because everyone's, you know, parenting. Or I don't know. I think you've got at least some of my friends. For example, actually later today, I'm going to a gathering where everyone's like volleyball players. So like volleyball is a whole clique. Do you have your volleyball friends where it's a whole community?
No, I don't. But I did meet a couple people who, it is a community. Like they'll go and meet up. It's like a volleyball meetup. Like
everyone in the volleyball community kind of knows each other in Vancouver, I think.
Yeah. It's very interesting.
Anyway,
a lot of like outdoorsy stuff. Yeah. It's fun.
You'd go again, you said, like to not just.
Yeah, I would go again. I mean, like throughout the summer, like I said, they did quite a few fun activities outside of just like going to a beach or at a park. I think they went to a Whitecaps game together.
Wow.
They went out to do kayaking together. They went out paddleboarding together, and just trying new breweries and restaurants and things like that. So it's cool. It's cool to be able to create a new community, especially if you're new to a city. I think it's a really great idea to try something like that out. But not me.
What are you? It's like, oh, so when did you move to Vancouver, G? It's like, when I was 0 years old.
That's like the starting conversation that you have with the people at the meetup, because they're like, oh, where are you from? I'm like, Vancouver. All my life.
You don't even belong here. She doesn't even go here. What's she doing here?
Exactly. Funny.
Anyways. Okay, so I want to talk about my app now. That's actually all summer I've been most excited to talk about this. It's like the only thing that I knew I wanted to talk about. So, you know, I have an ongoing struggle with discipline and staying on task, focus, being productive, and not spending too much time on social media or Twitter and stuff like that. So I think I mentioned this to my sister who was in town. I'll mention that a bit later. But so she's aware of this thing, and she sees me on my phone, and then she's like, I'm like constantly just switching from one app to another. Like I open Instagram and I open Twitter and I open Messenger and I open WhatsApp, and it's like she's like, oh my god, I'm just getting dizzy looking at your phone screen, and you're just like switching between things 10 times a second. And then so she sent me this app recommendation later on, and it's called 1 Sec. I don't think you've heard of it. I don't know.
I've never heard of it.
Yeah. So it's called 1 Sec, and what it does is you can tell 1 Sec, this app, however many applications, you can add it to a list. And any application that's on this list, when you open it up on your phone, it will have a delay before you can actually access that app. And so I want to, because we're on video, but even for the audio folks, I want to give you an idea of how long this delay is, because I'm curious for you, G, to reflect on like how this would change your behavior. Because I think James Clear might talk about this in Atomic Habits or just habit books in general, right? When there's something that you want to do that's good, you want to make it as easy as possible, right? Let's say like work out at home instead of at the gym, then you have no excuse, or go to a gym that's as close as possible to your home. Yeah. And then so on the flip side, if you want to stop doing something, you want to increase the friction as much as possible, right? Don't bring your phone into the bedroom. Don't put your phone right next to you when you're working. Like put it in a drawer, lock it away. When you increase the friction and the accessibility to the thing you want to do, then you make it harder to do. So you change your environment. You know what I'm talking about. Yeah. So I think this app really strategically and effectively cashes in on that strategy, which is to create friction on the thing that you want to do. So And then when there's the delay, there's this message that shows up on the screen while there's the delay. And I think the default message was take a deep breath.
Oh.
And then I changed it to, are you proud of your life?
Oh my gosh.
So every time I open up Instagram and Twitter, I've got to ask myself, am I proud of the life I'm living by doing what I'm about to do? I'm like basically low-key shaming myself just because that's how it works for me. I got to have that tough
That's
love.
some like David Goggin in your phone.
Because one of the most motivating questions I have in general, whenever I'm trying to get myself outside of a funk, is to ask myself, David, like, if you talk to someone, if you talk to your future kid, if you talk to like a high school friend you haven't seen in 10 years, and you talk about like how life is, like, are you proud of the life that you're living? Mm-hmm. And oftentimes the answer is no, but I'm trying. And then, so that's why I put that message. So can I show you what happens? I'm going to put it up on the webcam.
Please. That's so funny.
So I'm going to press Instagram, for example. Actually, let's do Twitter, right? Or X as it's called. I press that. And then this thing shows up. It's quite long. So for the audio folks, I apologize. There's not much to see on YouTube either.
Yeah, I'm just seeing a blank screen.
It's very long. It's a blank screen. And then it tells you how many times you try to access the app.
Oh, wow.
Now I can click on it. I
don't want to open X. I like that prompt that it says at the bottom. It's like, I don't want to open it.
Yeah, exactly. So once the delay is done, it shows you that those two buttons, right? Do you want to continue or do you not want to continue? Because that friction, that break helps you pause and actually think more consciously. Oh, wait, hang on. Are you sure you want to do this? And so when I'm waiting for the elevator, I cannot tell you how many times this, and the reason I'm bringing this is because it's been super effective. When I'm waiting for the elevator, when I'm waiting in line, I don't know, something. And then I have my subconscious and unconscious sort of habit to just quickly check for a few seconds, like, oh, what's going on? I open it, there's this delay, and I wait like a couple of times, I'm like, oh, fuck, I'm not gonna check it. Like, I don't want to wait. That was a good, how long was, I feel like that's like a good 20 seconds, that delay that I just showed you.
Yep. It was a good,
and so as a result of this app, I spend almost no time on Instagram and Twitter now because it's too annoying to open it.
That's awesome. I was thinking, there's another, like while you were talking, I think there's another good app idea is it like locks you out for 5 minutes after you go on it for like 2 minutes or something like that. Like you access Instagram for 2 minutes, and after 2 minutes, it locks you out for the next 5 minutes, and then you can go back again after 5 minutes. There must be an app like that too, right?
Yes. So there's tons of like screen time apps out there where you can set like, oh, every day I don't want to spend more than 15 minutes on Instagram, so lock me out after 15. Or like I can only access Instagram from, let's say 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. after my work hours. There's tons of apps like that. The reason I think this app is special and really effective is the delay. It doesn't stop you from using an app. I have no restriction. Once I get on, I can spend hours on it. But none of the other apps that I've researched gives me the function of this delay. And that's what I want. I just want to add this friction to accessing the app. Because even if let's say I can use it for 5 minutes, well, then I can still keep constantly checking it in those 5-second breaks that I have. And that's what I want to train my brain not to do.
It goes back to that instant gratification conversation that we had at the beginning of our season 1 season. Remember how people are always searching for that instant gratification? Now, I do notice it too because my computer is quite old and slow. And so every time I open a tab or like a web page, it takes like forever to load. And I notice that during that time, while the page is loading, I like have to go on my phone because I cannot wait for the 10 seconds it takes to load this tab. I have to like go on my phone and do something else because I just don't have the patience to like sit there and wait.
Yeah. And I mean, there's a book I'm reading right now that sort of talks about all of that and how it's not good. It's called Stolen Focus by Johan Hari, I think. And, that computer being slow, that's actually for some people, that's a feature, not a bug, as they say. Yeah. If you want to try and control your habits, you create friction. And so if you deliberately, let's say, you can maybe even find an app where it slows down your internet during a certain time so that you can still use it, but like because it's slower, do you still want to? So,
but my point is that I like switch between so many things. Like I can never like focus on one thing anymore because the one thing that I want to do, open this web page, it's taking 10 seconds. So in that time, like, why don't I just scroll my phone for another 10 minutes and then go back to this? And then like I click on something on that web page. It takes another like 5 minutes to load. I'm like, okay, back on my phone. So
okay, you need a new computer, Chi.
I know my computer is really slow.
That's the overwhelming conclusion that we have. How old is it? How many years has it been?
Oh, I've had it since like beginning of university, maybe. So it's been.
Oh my God.
Many years.
How many viruses does it have? Jesus Christ.
It doesn't have any viruses. It's just slow. But yeah, you know, this also like makes me think of like from a business perspective, because like 10, 20 years ago, we didn't really have this problem with like so many apps that we constantly have to go on. And now it's like, okay, new apps came out and then it made us lose our focus. And then like all these entrepreneurs and business people are like, well, let me find a solution to this problem. Let me invent more apps that'll like cut this off for you. And then it's like there's always new business ideas to tackle problems that we didn't even have like so many years ago. Like if we just didn't even have this app, we wouldn't need the solution. It just makes me think of like from that business perspective.
I do think there's a huge demand, interest, and shift towards services and products that simplify our life. There's just too much. And I think people are sick and tired of it. People are sick and tired of it. Like we don't want so many distractions. No one likes being addicted to social media. No one likes being on their screen and on a phone so much. But it's not, as the book that I'm reading, it says, it's not really our fault. Because there's these multi-billion-dollar companies with thousands of super smart engineers and social scientists that are literally trying to engineer, they have succeeded to engineer something that's deliberately designed to keep your attention and to keep you addicted, right? So it's kind of like, do you blame if someone gives everyone access to like meth or cocaine and then everyone gets addicted? Well, you don't really blame the user necessarily. I mean, you can, obviously there's a degree of personal responsibility, but you kind of go to the source and be like, hey, you want to stop handing out like free cocaine to everyone so people won't get so hooked? Yeah.
It's just funny how we're trying to go back to like 20 years ago. Now that we have like all these social media things, we're like, we don't want it. We need like tools to help us not use it anymore.
Yeah, we need more stranger meetups. We need to connect with people. And you know, I think there's phones now where their selling point is that there's no internet on it or that there's no apps on it. Like it's
we literally need to go back to the flip phone era where we didn't have connection to. It's interesting how the cycle works sometimes.
It is interesting. So I love the app. So thanks, sis, for recommending it. I actually paid like $8 for the annual trial.
Oh wow! Yeah.
Because without the trial, on the free version, you can only block one app. But I wanted to block more than one app, so I have YouTube not blocked. You know, with the delay, YouTube delay, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook are the apps I have on delay. Yeah.
Well, good for you for taking charge of your discipline, I guess, or forcing yourself to do something. It's probably what it takes nowadays. You can't really count on self-discipline anymore.
It's good. I recommend it.
Cool.
All right. We have like 20 minutes more, and we still want to talk about what we have in store for our season. So do we want to just make this a supersized episode? Go over an hour?
We could. I don't have too many more things to talk about, but I do want to talk about another cool thing that I did.
Okay, go for it.
So have you still been doing your morning cold showers, by the way? How's that going?
I do it around, I would say around 2/3 of the time.
Okay.
2/3 of the morning I do it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty good. I did a cold plunge a few weeks ago which you should have joined, because that would have been cool, I think, to like get that experience.
Cheap.
It's not that expensive.
No, but like it's just a bathtub of cold water. I can do that at home.
Yeah, but No, you can't. Well, I guess you could, but do you like, are you going to fill your bathtub with like ice water?
I have a friend who recently, who was the one who introduced me to like heat exposure, or I haven't done it yet, but he's told me about it. And he's into wellness and everything. And then he recently got into cold plunge.
Yeah.
And then he said that the other day he messaged me and he's like, yo, I got like 10 Ziploc bags full of ice in my freezer ready to go this weekend. he filled up his bathtub with
DIY.
cold water
Yeah.
and packs of ice.
Okay. Well, this place is actually, it's like the Scandinavian style of like the cycling, the hot cold cycling that's supposed to like release all the toxins in your body. Well, there's actually, they have this diagram that's a whole list of things. And one of the things that I thought was cool was that they had like one for mental challenge, like doing hard things. Like that's one of the benefits that they listed out in their diagram, was being able to do hard things. Yeah. And the people there were so like just motivating too. Like we were sitting in the bathtub and it was like super cold, and the guy walked by and he's like, remember, you can do hard things. It's okay. It's for 2 minutes. You can do the hard things. And we're like, oh my gosh, this is so motivating.
So cute.
Yeah. So basically, you cycle through hot, cold cycles for like hopefully 4 or 5 times during the duration of your session. And I just found like afterwards, it felt like all my muscles were loose. It felt like the pain in my body was gone. I was like, this is a miracle worker. Like I don't even feel like that after a massage. It was just, I don't know what it was, but like, I mean, obviously there are scientific backings to it, but.
So it's the contrast that gave you that feeling more so than just the cold plunge?
Yeah, it was the contrast between, because it's a wood sauna and it gets so hot in there, and they can put like you can also put like essential oils inside the steam so that you can absorb some of like, I don't know, eucalyptus or like whatever, all these essential oils. And then you stay in there, and then afterwards you can go into the cold plunge where it like zaps your body basically, because your body is like just came out from heat, and then you just like go zap yourself in the cold plunge and your body kind of goes into like a state of shock. But then afterwards you can just feel all your muscles start to loosen up. So I highly recommend it. It was great. I was just thinking while you were saying that you could do a DIY cold plunge. I have a sauna in my apartment, and I just thought how funny it would be if I filled my tub with cold water and I just run up and down the stairs, cycling through the hot and cold. But yeah, it was a good experience. Surprisingly for me, it was more uncomfortable to be in the heat than to be in the cold. And no one else agreed with me during that session, but like, the cold, I was like, maybe it's because of all my practicing with my cold showers. I don't know.
How long do you stay in each of in the cold and hot environment?
The cold for 2 minutes max, because it's really cold. Like it is 3 degrees. And then in the hot, you can stay there for like 5-10 minutes. I couldn't really stay past 5. It was too uncomfortable for me. It wasn't even just like mentally uncomfortable. Like I felt like I couldn't breathe, so I had to get out of there. And then you like relax for like 15 minutes and then you cycle through it again. So well, you know what, this contrast thing does interest me, because I can't really, as you noted, I don't even have a sauna, but even if I did, I'm not going to do what you just suggested, right? Like that contrast is quite good, because I think I did it once before. I might have mentioned on this podcast where I was in a outdoor hot tub in the winter, jumped into the snow, went back in hot tub, and it was amazing. I can imagine how revitalizing it is. Like your body probably just feels alive. Yeah.
Right? In ways maybe I'll do it.
I mean, I guess like, we do a pseudo version of that, because when we're in the shower, it is like hot or warm. That's what you start out with, right? In your shower, and then you turn it to cold. Okay, so maybe you don't.
I don't do that. I just do cold shower right away. Right. So maybe I should just have that. I should have that contrast, maybe. But I have one main question, which is, how does the cold plunge compare to your cold showers?
Oh, it's completely different, because with the cold plunge, your whole body is submerged in the water. right? There's something different about that. Like your shower is like one part of your body for, you know, for just a little bit of time. And then you like rotate and turn around. But it's not like your whole body is cold all at once. But with the cold plunge, because you're basically up to your neck, your entire body is like being zapped like all at once. And you're supposed to stay there for a while. But a lot of it is really mental, right? Because you're sitting there and I'm like sitting there with my eyes closed, like breathing in deep breaths. And I'm like, I can do this. I can do the hard things. But it hurts. Like my feet in particular feel like they're about to fall off. Like it's so painful. It's like pins and needles on your feet. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting.
You should really try it. Yeah.
I should try it. Okay. Maybe when one of our friends goes again, I'll tag along.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm interested in the contrast. The cold plunge, yeah, I can do it at my local gym, but the contrast is interesting. Although I guess my local gym has a sauna and the cold plunge, so I could just do that myself.
Yeah, but
right?
But you should try it.
Okay.
It's great.
Okay, I'll try it. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think what we should do, I've got a whole bunch of things to share about more family and partner related stuff, but that's a whole thing. So maybe I can talk about that another episode. But just to give a teaser, so my sister was here over the summer for her wedding, and as a result, my dad and my mom was also here. Haven't seen my dad in a long time. Haven't really talked to him for a while. My parents are separated, and I don't really communicate with my dad. We're not on bad terms, but I'm just a terrible communicator, so I don't really call him. But we caught up, and it turns out he's a wellness buff.
Oh,
yeah,
cool.
yeah. So that was really cool. And then my partner met the family. I have a couple of things to talk about there. And then just some reflections I have from spending time with my family, from in terms of the challenges, some of the challenges along the way, and what I think I learned about myself that I want to share with everyone. And then lastly, speaking of partner, just to share something that we've been doing over the summer, going on these very intentional and constructive dates based on this book called 8 Dates. So I just want to share a bit about that. It's been interesting. Yeah. There's a book by relationship therapist John Gottman that it's called 8 Dates, and then it guides you through 8 dates that you go on with a partner to talk about 8 different life topics.
Okay, I do want to hear more, but we should make this a separate episode. Yeah, I really want to hear more about it.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to spend 30 seconds to give my last 2 updates, okay? I swear.
Okay.
15 seconds. One of my best friends gave birth. I saw the baby at the hospital. So I saw a 1-day-old baby. It was terrifying and cute at the same time. They're like, do you want to hold it? I'm like, hell no. Do not let me approach that baby because I don't want to kill it.
Drop it? Yeah,
I don't want to drop it or give it germs. But very interesting. But I'm very awkward around new babies because I'm just like, you're so fragile. I don't want to break you.
Yeah.
I don't know. You're probably not. You're probably much more motherly than I am.
Well, I've never seen a one day old baby, so I'm not sure.
And then the other 15-second update is that I recently finished reading a book called Grit, The Power of Passion and Perseverance by Angela Duckworth. Quite a popular book. Have you read it, G?
I haven't read it. I've heard of it, though.
Okay. Anyway, it's a life-changing. It's one of those nonfiction books I think is changing the way I see and live the rest of my life. And I think on a future episode, we are going to talk about things that we have read or listened to, or things that were, things that we're learning. So I think I'm going to talk about that a lot more because it's amazing. It's 5 stars. I have like highlights on like every single page.
Cool.
Okay. That's it.
Well, I mean, on that note, maybe we should talk about our future plans for our season 2 episodes.
Yeah. Do you want to give it a shot?
Sure. So we did a little brainstorming over the summer about what we want season 2 to look like. And we came up with a few ideas on like themes, I guess, for our podcasts. So we've already been doing our uncuts, and those are going to be kind of like our catch up, fun, unedited, casual conversations about life, kind of like this one. We've have guest episodes that we've had throughout season 1, and we're going to continue those through season 2, inviting our friends or hopefully maybe even people we don't know come on the show and talk about, life in their 30s, how everyone's living. But we have, I guess, 2 new ideas for our episode. So one of them is going to be like a specific topic, right? Like a theme, one specific topic that we pick where we just go into and have a discussion. It's kind of like our Uncuts, but we have like a specific thing that we're focusing on. And I think those are going to be shorter, right? Or I guess it depends.
Yeah. And I think we want to get maybe a third co-host on for some of those just to have a general chit chat about this topic. But we don't really know who to talk to about that. So similar to the
I guess it depends on our theme. Yeah. Depends on what we're talking about.
But I still think similar to our guest episodes, like if you're listening and you are interested to connect with us on this pod, come on, whether it's for a guest episode or for one of these more casual theme-based topic conversations, please let us know. I think it'd be great to have more voices on here. But we just don't know, sometimes who might be interested or who might have something that they want to add to the conversation. So,
yeah. So, for example, what David was just talking about, family relationships, dynamics, that totally could be one of our topics. Yes. And then the fourth one is going to be interesting books, articles, podcasts that we're listening to. We just want to, talk about them. They won't really have a specific theme, I don't think, but it's just us sharing things we're reading, things we're listening. Yeah.
That's because I'm a huge nerd, so I'm like actually kind of low key most excited for that because I want to go through my highlights and like share all these like it's like so fascinating, all these things that I'm learning and reading.
I think for me, it's going to be, I listen to a bunch of podcasts. I do a lot of reading, but I don't necessarily always like write them down or like go back to them or whatever. And so I think this is going to be good, at least for me, to be like more intentional with like actually writing some things down.
I totally agree. I'm the same.
Yeah.
I'll read it and then like sort of it goes through one ear and out the next, so to speak. Yeah. But now if I want to like actually share and summarize my key takeaways, that's going to require me to really work with that information in a much more intentional way. So I'm excited for that.
Best way to learn is to teach. So
yeah,
we will try and do that.
Social media.
Yeah. Social media. We've started posting there. We've got our Insta, we've got our TikToks, we're making reels, and I don't think I've uploaded to any of those shorts to YouTube, but we're on there. So if you'd like to hear little snippets of our conversations from our podcast, you should follow us at That 30 Show Pod on all social media platforms. So our plan is to post like, little clips here and there, 30-second to a minute clips from each of our episodes.
And we love to get your input on these episodes that we're going to be uploading as well. So hopefully having those social media content out there will encourage some discussion, because I know, after all the episodes, she goes back and she has, a whole bunch of friends who talk to her a little bit about things like, why did David say that? Why is he so annoying or weird? So like, publicize those comments. That. I would love to hear it. Yeah, I'm just joking.
Yeah. Unless it's that. Don't post that on all of our socials. Yeah. Anyway, so that's kind of what we have in store. We figured to bring a bit more structure and fun ideas to our podcasts rather than we're just winging it for a few of those season 1. So we want to be able to bring some more value to season 2. So yeah,
I think the goal in the end, right? The mission here is we hope that we are creating conversations and an environment where it's relatable and insightful and valuable contents, both between just G and I, as well as with guests, that help inform how you might live your best life, especially in your 30s. I think that's just the goal, right? Whether that's with your family, with your friends, financially, with just any and all aspects of life that maybe don't get talked about too much with friends. When you get together, you're not going to be talking about some of these deeper things, or it doesn't have to be even deep, right? But I think the goal is that hopefully, as a result, at least for myself, talking to you, G, we can continue to find out how to live our best life in our 30s, how to thrive in our 30s, because it's still very much a work in progress. Honestly, I just came off 2 days where I was in an absolute funk for personal reasons, and it was really tough. And yeah, it's been tough. So life is a work in progress.
Yeah, for sure. And like you mentioned, relatable. I think that's really important too. We hope that like people will find even like a sense of community, I think, through this podcast. Like you're mentioning you're going through a funk. I mean, you're definitely not alone in that. I think a lot of people go through like days of funk, but sometimes it can feel kind of alienating or lonely if you're going through something like that by yourself. So if you hear that others are maybe going through it too in their 30s, that you don't feel so alone sometimes.
Yeah. I mean, this is the most constructive thing I've done in 2 days, and I wasn't even sure if I had the sort of the mental or emotional energy to bring to the conversation today. But so behind the scenes, there's always stuff going on, and hopefully our conversations may help you get through your life a little easier at times. So that's what we're all about. That's That 30 show.
Yay!
So let's
Awesome.
wrap it up. G, do you want me to wrap it up? So as usual, as G mentioned, definitely please do give us a follow on any podcast platform that you're listening to. We are on Instagram now, on TikTok, on YouTube, That 30s Show Pod. What really helps us if you give us a rating or a review. We did get a review from our friend Preet on Apple Podcasts. She said some really nice things. I haven't checked in a few weeks actually, so if anyone can do that for us, it really helps us spread the message, get our podcast to more people's ears and eyes now on YouTube. And if you would have any feedback or want to come on the show, let us know. DM our Instagram, That 30 Show Pod, or send us an email. Right? We still have our email is still a thing. That 30 Show Pod at Gmail. What's the email? I don't even know.
Can't remember. Oh, I got it here. That 30s Show Pod at gmail.com.
Okay, it is. So it's consistent.
Basically all, yeah.
That 30 Show
all
Pod.
of our socials.
Yeah, let us know what you think. Give us your suggestions. Give us your feedback. But until next week,
we will talk to you next week.
And my camera became suddenly blurry. What's going on? All right, let's wrap this up.
Yeah, that's a sign to end it. Okay, talk to you later, guys.
Bye.